Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of his ship, the Aurora's Edge, watching the stars through the main window. He had been exploring space for 12 years, but today felt different. Today, humans would meet aliens for the first time. "Captain, we're getting strange readings from the Kepler 442 system," said Lieutenant Ben Harrison from his station. "Multiple ships coming our way. Big ones." Jake nodded and walked to the communication panel. "This is Captain Morrison of the Earthship Aurora's Edge. We come in peace. Please respond." The answer came quickly, but not in words. Bright red beams shot from the alien ships, hitting the Aurora's Edge hard. The ship shook and sparks flew from damaged equipment. "Shields at 60%, Ben shouted. "They're not trying to talk, Captain." Jake grabbed the emergency communication device. "All Earth ships, this is Morrison. We are under attack. Repeat, we are under attack by unknown alien forces." Far away on Earth, Admiral Lisa Rodriguez sat in the command center, watching the screens. With growing fear. The first contact with aliens was supposed to be peaceful. Instead, she was watching human ships being destroyed one by one. "Ma'am, we're getting reports from New Haven Colony," said Commander Ryan Carter, his voice shaking. "The aliens. They're bombing the cities. 2 million people live there." Lisa closed her eyes for a moment. "Open a channel to the alien fleet. All frequencies. This is Admiral Rodriguez of the Earth Defense Fleet. We want to talk. Please stop the attack. We can work together." The alien response was cold and mechanical. "We are the Valdry Empire. You humans are pests. We remove pests from our galaxy. Surrender now or we will kill all of you." Lisa looked at the screens showing New Haven Colony. Entire cities were burning. Children, families, everyone was dying under the alien weapons. "They won't listen," she whispered. Dr. Elena Vasquez worked frantically in her lab, studying the alien messages. She was Earth's best expert on alien life, but nothing had prepared her for this. The Valdry Empire controlled 14 star systems. They had weapons that could destroy planets. They treated killing entire species like cleaning a house. "The communications show they've done this before," she told the emergency council. "They've killed dozens of species. To them, we're just another problem to solve." On the burning colony of New Haven, Commander Ryan Carter ran through the smoke and fire. He was trying to save as many people as possible, but the alien weapons were too powerful. He activated his emergency recorder. "This is Commander Carter. New Haven Colony is ... It's gone. The aliens are killing everyone. Women, children, everyone. They're not even taking prisoners. They just want us dead." He looked up at the sky, where alien ships circled like vultures. "If anyone receives this message, know that we tried to make peace. We offered to talk. They chose to murder us instead." The message reached Earth just as the last human ship in the Kepler 442 system was destroyed. Jake Morrison's Aurora's Edge had fought bravely, but the alien ships were too strong. His final words were simple. "Tell Earth we tried to do the right thing." In the days that followed, more alien fleets arrived at human colonies. The Valdry Empire brought their allies, the Crush, who looked like giant insects, and the Eternals, who were made of pure energy. Together, they had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years. "Humans are weak," said the Crush leader. "They have only one planet. We have hundreds. This will be easy." The Eternals, ancient beings who had watched civilizations rise and fall, agreed. "Another species will disappear. We have seen this many times before." But the Valdry leader, Admiral Zexhai, wanted to be sure. "Send a message to all human worlds. Tell them to surrender completely. If they agree, we will let some of them live as slaves. If they refuse, we will kill them all." The message reached Earth within hours. Lisa Rodriguez read it aloud to the Emergency Council. The aliens wanted humans to give up their freedom, their planets, their future. They wanted humanity to become property of the Valdry Empire. What do we tell them? Asked Dr. Vasquez. Lisa looked around the room at the faces of Earth's leaders. They were scared, but they were also angry. Humanity had dreamed of meeting aliens for centuries. They had hoped for friendship, for learning, for a bigger future among the stars. Instead, they had found monsters who wanted to make them slaves or kill them. We tell them no, Lisa said quietly. We tell them that humans don't surrender to bullies. The response was sent back to the Valdry Empire. Humanity rejects your demands. We will fight for our freedom. Admiral Zex-High laughed when he received the message. Foolish humans, you have no idea what you're facing. We will show you what happens when insects try to fight giants. That night, something strange happened across all human space. From Earth to the farthest colonies, every human being felt the same thing at the same moment. It wasn't fear or anger or sadness. It was something much worse. It was the moment when hope died. Jake Morrison's young daughter on Earth stopped playing with her toys and sat quietly, staring at nothing. Dr. Vasquez stopped her research and sat in her lab, not caring about anything anymore. Admiral Rodriguez looked at her battle plans and couldn't remember why winning mattered. Across the galaxy, 2 billion humans simply stopped believing in tomorrow. The part of their minds that dreamed of better days, that fought for their children's future, that refused to give up no matter how bad things got, just broke. And when human hope broke, something else broke with it. Something the aliens had never noticed, something they didn't understand, something that had been quietly holding their galaxy together for millions of years. The universe itself began to change. Lieutenant Ben Harrison sat at his communication station on the battleship Defiance, staring at the quiet screens. For the first time in his military career, the human communication networks were completely silent. Not broken, not damaged, just silent. Captain Torres, this is strange, he said to his commanding officer. I'm getting carrier signals from all human colonies, but nobody is talking. The channels are open, but no one is saying anything. Captain Michelle Torres walked over to check the readings herself. She had commanded ships for 15 years and had never seen anything like this. Try Mars Base. They always have heavy traffic. Ben, open the channel to Mars Base. Mars Base, this is Defiance. Please respond. A voice answered immediately, but it was flat and empty. This is Mars Base. We are here. Is everything all right? We're not seeing normal communication traffic. Everything is functional. We are performing our duties. Ben looked at Captain Torres with confusion. Sir, they sound like robots. Where is the normal chatter? The jokes? The complaints about duty shifts? Captain Torres tried calling her friend Commander Lisa Park on Europa Station. Lisa answered the call, but her voice was the same flat, empty tone. She reported that all systems were working. All personnel were at their posts, but there was no emotion in her voice at all. Across the galaxy, the same scene played out on every human world. People got up in the morning, went to work, ate their meals, and went to bed. But they stopped talking to each other unless it was absolutely necessary for their jobs. They stopped laughing, stopped crying, stopped making plans for the weekend. Children stopped playing games. Artists stopped painting. Musicians stopped writing songs. Writers stopped telling stories. The creative spark that made humans human had simply vanished. Dr. Samuel Brooks continued his work in the physics lab on Earth, but something was wrong with his research. His calculations were perfect, his measurements precise, but he no longer cared what they meant. He recorded strange readings in the quantum field measurements, noting that the fundamental constants of reality seemed to be shifting slightly. Interesting. He said to his assistant, Dr. Amy Chun. The quantum fields are showing unusual fluctuations. Should we investigate? Amy asked in the same flat tone. We will continue to record the data, Samuel replied. Neither of them seemed to understand that what they were seeing could mean the end of everything. Meanwhile, the alien forces celebrated their victory. Admiral Zexhai of the Valdry Empire sent messages to his allies across the galaxy. The human threat has been eliminated, he announced. They have surrendered without another fight. Their colonies are ready for harvesting. The Kresh hive mind, led by Nexus Prime, buzzed with satisfaction. The humans were weaker than we thought. They broke after only a few attacks. Weaken now. Harvest their worlds for resources. The Eternals, ancient beings of pure energy, began their standard procedures for cataloging another extinct species. Aurelius, the oldest of the Eternals, started preparing reports on human technology and biology for the Galactic Archives. Another primitive species has fallen, Aurelius communicated to the other Eternals. We will preserve some examples for study, then proceed with standard cleanup procedures. But as the days passed, other species across the galaxy began to notice problems. The Christari, who had built their entire civilization on perfect mathematical harmony, found their calculations becoming unreliable. Their beautiful crystal cities, grown through precise mathematical formulas, began showing cracks and imperfections. The mathematics are wrong, reported crystal singer Melodia to the Christari Council. Our equations no longer match reality. Our most basic calculations are producing impossible results. The Norvani, master engineers who had built the galactic trade networks, discovered that their most advanced technologies were malfunctioning. Hyperspace jumps that had worked perfectly for thousands of years now led ships to wrong destinations. Some ships disappeared entirely. Captain Helen Foster of the human cargo ship Meridian continued her scheduled runs with mechanical precision. She loaded cargo, flew her routes, and delivered goods exactly as planned. But wherever her ship traveled, strange things happened. Alien navigation systems failed. Hyperspace beacons went dark. Other ships reported that their instruments stopped working when they came near human vessels. This is Trade Station Omega, came a confused transmission from a Norvani station. The human ship Meridian just passed through our sector. Our entire navigation network has shut down. We don't understand what's happening. Helen received the message, but responded with the same flat tone all humans now used. This is Meridian. We are proceeding to our next destination. Our cargo delivery. Schedule remains unchanged. The Norvani couldn't understand how a simple human cargo ship could cause their advanced technology to fail. They had built trade networks across hundreds of star systems, but now their most reliable routes were becoming unusable. Dr. Rebecca King, working in her lab on Earth, made a discovery that should have excited her. Her research into consciousness and quantum mechanics had revealed something incredible. Consciousness itself appeared to be a fundamental force of the universe, like gravity or electromagnetism. Consciousness affects reality at the quantum level, she reported to her colleagues in the same emotionless voice. Human consciousness appears to have unique properties that stabilize quantum fields. But she felt no excitement about this discovery. She simply recorded the data and moved on to the next experiment. Meanwhile, the Kresh were experiencing their own problems. Their hive mind, which had connected billions of individual Kresh across multiple star systems, was beginning to fragment. Individual drones were losing contact with the collective consciousness. We are losing connection to Hive Section 7, reported one of the Kresh leaders. The drones are becoming confused and unable to follow collective instructions. Nexus Prime tried to strengthen the hive mind connection, but the problems only got worse. Kresh drones began acting independently, something that hadn't happened in their species for thousands of years. Even the Eternals, who had transcended physical existence long ago, began to experience difficulties. Their energy forms, which had been stable for millions of years, started showing signs of instability. Something is wrong with the fabric of reality itself, Aurelius reported to the Eternal Council. The quantum foundations of existence are becoming unstable. Commander Peter Walsh led the last functional human military unit, but his decisions were made without any consideration for victory or survival. He simply followed his orders mechanically, moving his fleet through space according to predetermined patterns. When his ships entered the Alpha Centauri system, something impossible happened. 3 Valdry dreadnoughts, massive ships that had conquered dozens of star systems, simply ceased to exist. They didn't explode or crash. They just disappeared, their matter and energy dissolving into nothingness. "Report," demanded Admiral Zexhai. When he heard about the incident, "The ships were there, then they were not," came the confused response from the Valdry fleet. The human ships did nothing aggressive. They simply moved through the system, and our ships vanished. Admiral Zexhai felt something he hadn't experienced in centuries: fear. The humans had stopped fighting, stopped hoping, stopped being human. But somehow, that was more terrifying than any weapon they could have built. Across the galaxy, reality itself was beginning to unravel, and nobody understood why. Ambassador Corvax of the Valdry Empire stood in the emergency council chamber, his 3 eyes wide with fear. The most powerful star systems in the galaxy were experiencing problems that shouldn't be possible. "The Valdry home system is showing gravitational anomalies," he reported to the assembled alien leaders. "Our sun, which has burned steadily for 4 billion years, is showing signs of instability. Our scientists cannot explain it." The Kresh representative, drone speaker Zilak, clicked his mandibles nervously. "The hive mind is fragmenting. We are losing entire sectors of our collective consciousness. Individual drones are becoming confused and acting alone." Aurelius, the ancient Eternal, flickered in and out of existence as he tried to maintain his energy form. "The quantum foundations of reality are breaking down. We have observed many civilizations rise and fall, but we have never seen anything like this." Admiral Zexhai slammed his fist on the table. "How can the humans be doing this? They surrendered. They stopped fighting. Their fleets are barely functional." "Perhaps that is exactly the problem," said Aurelius quietly. "We may have made a terrible mistake." Meanwhile, Captain Helen Foster continued her cargo runs across the galaxy in her ship, the Meridian. She followed her scheduled routes with perfect precision, but wherever she went, the problems got worse. Her ship's presence seemed to create dead zones in space where alien technologies simply stopped working. "This is Norvani Trade Station Beta," came a desperate transmission. "The human cargo ship has entered our sector. Our hyperspace gates are shutting down. Our navigation computers are giving impossible readings. Please help us." Helen received the message, but responded in the same flat, emotionless tone all humans now used. "This is cargo ship Meridian. We are following our assigned trade route. Our delivery schedule remains unchanged." The Norvani couldn't understand how a simple human cargo ship could cause their most advanced systems to fail. They had built trade networks that connected hundreds of worlds, but now their technology was useless whenever humans were nearby. Dr. Rebecca Kim worked in her laboratory on Earth, continuing her research into consciousness and quantum mechanics. She had made discoveries that should have changed everything, but she no longer cared about the implications of her work. Human consciousness operates on frequencies that interact with quantum fields, she reported to her silent colleagues. These frequencies appear to stabilize the fundamental forces of reality. When human consciousness changes, reality itself changes. She paused and looked at her data with empty eyes. The simultaneous change in human consciousness patterns across the galaxy has created a cascade effect. The quantum fields that hold matter and energy together are becoming unstable. Her assistant, Dr. Mark Wilson, recorded her words without emotion. Should we inform the authorities? We will continue to document the phenomenon, Rebecca replied. Neither of them seemed to understand that they were watching the universe begin to die. The Christeri, who had built their civilization on perfect mathematical harmony, were facing complete chaos. Their crystal cities, grown through precise calculations, were cracking and falling apart. Their leaders called emergency meetings, but their most brilliant minds couldn't solve the problem. The mathematics no longer work, reported Crystal Singer. Melodia. Our equations that have been perfect for thousands of years now produce impossible results. Reality no longer follows mathematical laws. The Christeri had always believed that mathematics was the language of the universe. Now they discovered that human consciousness had been quietly singing harmony to their mathematical songs, and without that harmony, their perfect equations became meaningless noise. Commander Peter Walsh moved his human fleet through the galaxy, following his orders with mechanical precision. He made no aggressive moves, fired no weapons, and threatened no one. But his presence was more destructive than any weapon ever built. When his ships passed through the Kresh home system, something terrible happened. The collective consciousness that had connected billions of Kresh minds for thousands of years suddenly collapsed. Individual Kresh found themselves alone in their own minds for the first time in their species' history. "We are ... alone," whispered one confused Kresh drone. "The voices of our brothers and sisters are gone. We cannot hear the hive mind. What has happened to us?" The Kresh had never existed as individuals before. They had always been part of something larger, something that gave their lives meaning and purpose. Now they were lost, confused, and afraid. The Eternals, who had transcended physical existence millions of years ago, began to experience something they thought was impossible. Their energy forms, which had been stable since the galaxy was young, started breaking apart. "We are losing cohesion," Aurelius reported to the Eternal Council. "Our energy patterns are becoming chaotic. We may cease to exist." The Eternals had always thought they were beyond the physical laws that governed other species. They had watched civilizations rise and fall, never thinking that anything could threaten their existence. Now they realized that even they depended on the stability of reality itself. The Valdry Empire, which had conquered dozens of star systems, faced the collapse of their entire civilization. Their plasma weapons, which had destroyed human colonies, began turning against their own ships. The energy that powered their weapons was becoming unstable and dangerous. "Our weapons are destroying our own fleet," Admiral Zexhai reported in. "Panic. The plasma conduits are overloading. Our ships are tearing themselves apart." The Valdry had always relied on their superior technology to maintain their empire. Now the technology was becoming their enemy. Dr. Jennifer Cole, Earth's leading expert on the human mind, continued her research with the same mechanical precision that all humans now showed. She had discovered something that should have amazed her, but she felt nothing. "Human consciousness is connected to the quantum structure of reality," she reported. "Human emotions, particularly hope and determination, create resonance patterns that stabilize space-time itself. When humans stopped hoping, these stabilizing patterns disappeared." She looked at her data with empty eyes. The universe is held together by conscious observation and intention. Other species accept reality as it is, but humans have always insisted that reality could be better. This insistence creates quantum effects that strengthen the fabric of existence. Her colleague, Dr. Paul Davis, recorded her findings. "What happens if the patterns are not restored?" "Universal entropy will increase exponentially," Jennifer replied without emotion. reality will collapse into chaos. All matter and energy will return to the state that existed before the universe began. She was describing the end of everything, but she spoke about it as if she were discussing the weather. Across the galaxy, alien civilizations that had existed for millions of years began to crumble. The Valdry Empire's star systems became uninhabitable. The Kresh collective consciousness shattered into billions of confused individuals. The Christery's mathematical paradise turned into geometric chaos. The Eternals faced extinction for the first time in their existence. And at the center of it all, humanity continued their daily routines with perfect mechanical precision, unaware that their broken hearts were unmaking the universe itself. Admiral Zex stood in the ruins of his command ship, watching his plasma weapons destroy his own fleet. The Valdry Empire, which had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years, was collapsing around him. His weapons were useless. His technology was failing, and his home worlds were becoming uninhabitable. "Bring me a human," he ordered his remaining officers. "We need to understand what they have done to us." His soldiers found Dr. Alex Turner working alone in a research station on Europa. They brought him to the Valdry command ship, expecting to interrogate a defeated enemy. Instead, they found a man who answered their questions with cold, mechanical precision. "What have you humans done to our technology?" Zex demanded. "We have done nothing," Alex replied in the same flat tone. "All humans now used. We continue to perform our assigned duties. We maintain our equipment. We follow our schedules. Then why is our empire falling apart? Why are our weapons destroying our own ships?" Alex looked at the Admiral with empty eyes. "Human consciousness creates quantum resonance patterns that stabilize reality. When human hope ended, these patterns stopped. The universe is returning to its natural state of chaos." Zex grabbed Alex by the shoulders. "What do you mean? Explain this to me." "Before humans existed, the universe was less stable. Other species accept reality as it is. Humans always believed reality could be better. This belief created quantum effects that made the universe more organized and stable. When we stopped believing in tomorrow, we stopped stabilizing today." The Admiral stared at the human scientist. "You're saying that human hope was holding the galaxy together?" "That is correct," Alex replied without emotion. "Now it is not. The universe is dissolving back into chaos. All matter and energy will eventually return to the state that existed before creation." Meanwhile, the Eternal Council met for the first time in 10,000 years. These ancient beings, who had existed since the galaxy was young, were facing extinction. Their energy forms were becoming unstable, and they were losing the power that had kept them alive for millions of years. "We have made a terrible mistake," Aurelius admitted to the other Eternals. "We have destroyed the one species that was keeping the universe stable." The Eternal known as Celesta flickered weakly. "In all our observations of galactic civilizations, we never recognized that consciousness could be a fundamental force. We thought humans were primitive because they refused to accept reality as it is. Their refusal to accept reality was exactly what made them valuable," Aurelius replied. "They insisted the universe could be better, and their insistence made it so. Without their hope, everything is falling apart." The Christery faced their own crisis. Their mathematical paradise was crumbling as their perfect equations no longer worked. Crystal Singer Melodia called an emergency meeting of their greatest minds. "We must find a way to restore the mathematical harmony," she announced. "Our entire civilization depends on it." But their scientists had a terrible realization. The mathematics were never perfect on their own, reported their lead mathematician. Human consciousness was providing the missing variables. Their hope and determination filled in the gaps that made our equations work. The Christery had always believed they were the most logical and mathematical species in the galaxy. Now they discovered that their logic only worked because of human emotion. The creche faced the worst crisis of all. Their collective consciousness had shattered, leaving billions of individual creche confused and alone. Nexus Prime, who had been the central mind of their species, found himself cut off from the hive mind for the first time in his existence. "We are dying," he reported to the Emergency Council. "Without the collective consciousness, we cannot function. We have forgotten how to be individuals." The creche had evolved to exist as a single unified mind. Individual creche had no identity, no purpose, no ability to make decisions alone. They were like fingers cut off from a hand. Unable to survive on their own, Captain Sarah Mitchell commanded the last operational human warship, the Endeavour. She received communication requests from alien species across the galaxy, but she answered them all with the same emotionless responses. The proud aliens who had once threatened to destroy humanity were now begging for help. "This is the Valdry Empire," came a desperate transmission. "We offer you our most advanced technology. We will share all our scientific knowledge. Please help us restore stability to our worlds." Sarah responded without feeling. "We are continuing our patrol duties. Our mission parameters have not changed. Please." The Valdry leader begged. "We will declare humans our equals. We will give you representation in our government. We will do anything you ask." But Sarah felt nothing. The offer that would have excited any human leader before the breaking now meant nothing to her. She simply repeated her standard response and continued her patrol. The creche sent their own message. "We offer to serve humanity. We will become your servants, your workers, your soldiers. We will do whatever you command if you help us restore our hive mind." The Christri made similar offers, promising to share their mathematical knowledge and their beautiful crystal cities. The Eternals offered to teach humans how to transcend physical existence and become beings of pure energy. But the humans who received these messages felt nothing. They recorded the offers and filed them away and returned to their mechanical daily routines. Dr. Jennifer Cole worked with alien scientists who had come to Earth, desperate to understand the human mind. They brought their most advanced medical technology, their most sophisticated scanning equipment, their greatest experts. "On consciousness, the human brain shows normal activity," reported a Valdry scientist. "All systems are functioning correctly. But the quantum resonance patterns are gone," added a Christri mathematician. "The frequencies that stabilized reality are no longer being generated." Jennifer continued her research with mechanical precision. The breaking occurred at the quantum level. Human consciousness became disconnected from the quantum fields that govern reality. Hope and determination are not just emotions. They are quantum mechanical processes that affect the fundamental forces of the universe. The alien scientists worked frantically to find a solution. They tried using their technology to artificially recreate the quantum patterns that humans had generated naturally. They failed completely. "We cannot replicate human consciousness," the Valdry scientist admitted. "It is too complex, too unique. Only humans can generate the specific frequencies needed to stabilize reality." Captain Chris Robinson was one of the few humans who still showed any signs of emotion. He had been off duty when the breaking occurred, and somehow he had been partially protected from its effects. He could still feel small amounts of hope and determination, though they were weak and fading. The alien scientists focused all their efforts on studying him. Through their research, they learned something that terrified them. Human consciousness was not just connected to quantum fields. It was actively participating in the creation of reality itself. "Humans don't just observe the universe," Chris explained to the alien researchers. "They participate in making it exist. Every time a human hopes for something better, they create quantum possibilities that make better outcomes more likely." The aliens finally understood what they had done. They had not just attacked humanity. They had attacked the force that held the universe together. The galaxy was dying, and only humans could save it. But humans no longer cared about saving anything, including themselves. The galaxy was dying. Across hundreds of star systems, suns were going dark, planets were dissolving into chaos, and entire civilizations were vanishing into nothingness. The alien species that had ruled for millions of years now faced extinction, and they finally understood that only one species could save them. Dr. Amanda Price led the combined research effort on Earth. Scientists from every alien civilization worked together in her laboratory, sharing technology and knowledge that had been secret for thousands of years. The Valdry gave their most advanced medical equipment. The Kresh shared their understanding of collective consciousness. The Christri provided their mathematical models. The Eternals offered their knowledge of quantum reality. We must find a way to restore human hope, Amanda said in her flat, emotionless voice. According to our research, human consciousness operates as a quantum stabilizer. When humans hope, they create resonance patterns that strengthen reality itself. The alien scientists worked frantically, but they faced an impossible problem. They could measure human brain activity. They could map neural pathways. They could even detect quantum fields. But they couldn't understand what made humans special. Human consciousness is different from all other species, reported Dr. Veltar, a Valdry neuroscientist. Other species accept the universe as it is. Humans actively reject reality when it doesn't meet their expectations. This rejection creates quantum possibilities for change. Captain Chris Robinson sat in the research lab, the last human who still felt even a small amount of hope. He was weak and tired, and that tiny spark of emotion was fading day by day. The alien scientists studied him constantly, trying to understand what made human consciousness unique. How does hope work? Asked Nexus Prime, the former leader of the Kresh Collective. He was one of billions of individual Kresh who were slowly dying without their hive-mind connection. Chris struggled to find words for something that had always seemed natural. Hope isn't just wanting something better. It's believing that better is possible, even when everything says it's not. Humans look at impossible situations and say, we can change this. But how does belief change reality? Asked Crystal Singer. Melodi. Chris thought for a moment. When we hope for something, we don't just imagine it. We make it more likely to happen. Human consciousness reaches into the quantum fields and pushes reality toward better outcomes. The research continued day and night, but time was running out. Every day, more star systems went dark. More planets crumbled into dust. More civilizations disappeared forever. Then Dr. Amanda Price made a discovery that should have excited her, but she announced it in the same flat tone she used for everything else. The breaking was not just psychological. It was quantum mechanical. Human consciousness had evolved to be naturally connected to the universe's fundamental forces. When humans stopped hoping, they disconnected from these forces. The alien scientists realized they needed to do something unprecedented in galactic history. Every species would have to acknowledge not just human equality, but human necessity. They would have to admit that their survival depended completely on humanity's well-being. Admiral Zix High, who had ordered the destruction of human colonies, stood before the Galactic Council and spoke words that no Valdry had ever said before. The Valdry Empire formally declares that humans are not just our equals, but our superiors in the most important way. We acknowledge that our survival depends on their hope and determination. The Kresh Collective, speaking through their few remaining connected minds, made their own declaration. We offer to integrate human consciousness into our collective. We will become part human, part Kresh, if this will help restore the quantum patterns. The Christri rewrote their most sacred mathematical formulas to include human variables. They, Eternals, ancient beings who had never acknowledged any other species as important, formally declared humans to be partners in maintaining universal order. These declarations were broadcast across the galaxy, reaching every human world, every space station, every ship. The formal acknowledgement that humanity was essential to galactic survival began to create small changes in quantum field readings. Dr. Linda Carter monitored the quantum measurements from Earth. For the first time in months, she detected tiny fluctuations in the field patterns. The fundamental constants of reality, which had been shifting toward chaos, began to stabilize slightly. The first real sign of recovery came from an unexpected source. On Mars Colony, 7-year-old Emma Brooks was playing quietly in her room when she suddenly looked up at her mother. "Mama," she said, "what are we going to do tomorrow?" It was the first future-oriented question any human had asked in months. Her mother, Dr. Sarah Brooks, felt something she had forgotten existed. For just a moment, a tiny spark of hope flickered in her mind. "I don't know, sweetie," Sarah replied, and then added words that surprised her. "But we'll figure it out together." That small moment of hope created a quantum ripple that spread across space. On other human worlds, more children began asking about tomorrow. Adults began making plans beyond their immediate tasks. Artists picked up their brushes. Musicians remembered melodies they wanted to write. Captain Chris Robinson felt the change. Immediately, the weak hope that had been fading inside him suddenly grew stronger. "It's working," he told the alien scientists. "I can feel it. Humans are starting to hope again." But the recovery was slow and fragile. Human consciousness returned in waves, but it was different now. Humans understood their role as the galaxy's stabilizers, and the alien species understood that their survival depended on human well-being. Captain Jake Morrison, who had survived the destruction of his ship, woke up in a medical bay feeling something he had forgotten. He felt curious about what would happen next week. He felt excited about exploring new star systems. He felt hope for the future. Admiral Lisa Rodriguez found herself making plans for the Earth Defense Fleet that extended months into the future. She began thinking about peace treaties, trade agreements, and scientific exchanges with alien species. Dr. Elena Vasquez resumed her research with renewed enthusiasm. But now she was working alongside alien scientists as partners, rather than studying them as subjects. The galaxy that emerged from the crisis was fundamentally different. The old power structures based on military strength and technological superiority were replaced by a new understanding. Consciousness itself was recognized as the most important force in the universe. Humanity took its place not as conquerors or servants, but as the species responsible for maintaining the quantum stability that allowed all life to exist. The alien civilizations, grateful for their survival, became protectors and partners of human well-being. Captain Morrison stood on the bridge of his new ship, looking out at the stars with wonder and hope. The galaxy had learned that when humans break, everything breaks with them. But they had also learned something more important. When humans hope, the universe itself becomes possible. And as long as humans continued to believe in tomorrow, all the species of the galaxy would have a future among the stars. The breaking had taught everyone a vital lesson. Hope was not just a human emotion. It was the force that held reality together, and humanity was its guardian.